Alright, hello everyone. I'm ZELLLOOO. I'm going to be running Crypt as NecroDancer for the next hour or so. Nice little indie roguelike with a nice twist on just how roguelikes work. I also have two very great commentators with me if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Spooty. I play this game a little bit.
I'm Goof. I also play this game a little bit.
So I guess before we get started, I want to thank Royal for his $20 donation for the story mode run, which unfortunately did not get met. So I'm just going to be bouncing around random characters. We'll be starting off with Cadence, who's just the main base character, and then we'll start going on the extra characters after that. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started, and Goof and Spooty will just do most of the commentating as I'm going to be focusing. So off we go.
So, for those who are not familiar with Crypt and NecroDancer, it's kind of a non-traditional rhythm game. All y'all know what a rhythm game looks like, and this chair probably doesn't look like it to you, but rhythm game. So like basically the rhythm game aspect of this is a turn-based dungeon crawler, and every turn has is set to the time of the music. The beat. So you get one turn every quarter note, and so do all the enemies. You move before the enemies, and you basically want to try and kill the enemies without getting killed yourself. You got to kill the mini boss to unlock the stairs and get to the next floor. So game's going to be divided into 5 zones. We're starting with the surface level, like kind of crypt layer here in zone 1, and we'll be dividing each floor into 3 floors. Each floor increases in tempo slightly as you progress. So first song I believe is 115 BPM and 1-2 is 130. And then after 3 floors there'll be a randomly selected boss. Each of which has a really bad musical punt. If you like bad music punts, you've come to the right place. So, this is a roguelike, which means there is permadeath and procedurally generated dungeon floors, random items, the whole shebang. So we've seen a few item pickups here. The sunglasses makes all the enemies silhouetted, makes it a little harder to identify what the enemies are, but it gives you +1 damage. And the obsidian shovel can dig stronger walls, provided your multiplier is charged up. Your multiplier is based on your the number of enemies you've killed consecutively without either missing a beat or taking damage. So we just saw there the King Konga fight. Those of you who've been around the ITG scene are probably familiar with that song. It's the only irregular beat map that's in the game. Pretty much every other song you move every quarter note, but King Konga you skip every 7th beat. And it's worth adding that missed beats also include
Go the Minotaur left.
When it's not the beat, so you got to make sure you're not pressing buttons on that missing 8th beat. Otherwise, King Konga gets mad and chases you. It's also worth noting that for boss fights, you want to beat them without taking damage or missing any beats, because then you get a flawless victory reward, which is a choice of 1 of 3 chests in the back. Usually speedruns in this game are really dependent on you getting the flaws on the first boss, because you can get a better weapon from the black chest usually. But ZELLLOOO did get hit by King Konga, so it's gonna miss that. Ooh, we got a Shriner fight here. This is dangerous. So the Shriner gives you access to 1 of 3 random shrines that you can take for 50 gold, but you can also bomb them for the items the shrines drop. But it spawns 3 dragons, and it's really risky with the sunglasses because you can't distinguish between the red, green, and blue dragons. The blue dragon having a conical freeze breath attack, and the red dragon having a horizontal laser, fireball attack. And the green dragon just being basically a big dumb skeleton that just tries to stomp on your face. But not being able to tell the range of the dragons makes that fight really rough. So very nicely handled from ZELLLOOO.
Yeah, it was very fortunate that they lined up kind of all in a column.
So we've got the death metal fight here. This is the fastest song in the game, clocking in at a blazing 175 BPM. It's not that fast. None of the songs in this game go like super fast by traditional rhythm game standards. But when you factor in the fact that you are having to make on-the-fly decisions throughout the entire time, that it's not just like a standard rhythm game where there's just a play field on screen and it's pretty much like, hey, just press these buttons at this time. Like you have to, there are for the most part not right or wrong answers.
Oh, I blew up the charm. Damn it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh well, that's fine.
Yeah, the super secret shop changes the setup for this shopkeeper kill a little bit, but honestly, your build's looking pretty good here. So we're on zone 3 here. It's the fire and ice zone. Nice little touch in this zone is that you can actually hear a subtle change in the music when you transition between the hot and cold paths of the house.
My game decided to just lag for no reason. I dropped a bunch of beats. But it looks like we're okay.
But zone 3 is kind of a part of the game that really walls a lot of newcomers because it's just such a complex zone with a lot of open space, so you get rushed down by a bunch of enemies with really complicated movement patterns, and there's the hot coals, which you can't stand on. If you stay on hot coals for a beat, you take damage. And ice, which obviously makes you slide, and while you're sliding, you just move in that direction, and you can't move or attack. You still use spells or items while sliding.
Well, speaking of spells, we just got a really good one right there. So that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, the shield spell is super strong. Honestly, all the spells in the game are really strong, other than like maybe bomb spell. But the shield spell is going to give you 10 beats invincibility, but that's not all about spells. The important thing about spells is that you can actually cast them on cooldown when they're on cooldown. Cooldowns are just a suggestion. If you cast a spell while it's still on cooldown, it'll deal some damage to you. In this case, Shield has a blood magic cost of 1 heart. But ZELLLOO picked up the Ring of Regeneration from bombing the Blood Shrine a couple floors back. And that gives that's going to give him a free heart of health every floor. So essentially, if you use your health as a resource, that amounts to 1 free blood cast of shield every floor. Which 10 beats of invincibility, that is a long time when you're talking about speedrunning, especially with a weapon as strong as this Obsidian Rapier.
Well, that hurt. Thankfully, we've got cheese on deck. It happened right as my shield ran out, so counting is important.
You also have the Ring of Regeneration, which heals 1 heart at the beginning of every floor. Don't take hits like that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that either. That's okay.
Got a carrot though.
Let's blood magic out of that. There we go.
Yeah. So just talking about the weapon a little bit, because I didn't really explain the weapon that we got at the end of the second zone boss. So the way this game works is it's meant to be played with a very simple control scheme. Like, you can play the game with just 4 arrows. In fact, it was done with that in mind so that you could play this on a DDR pad. So what that means is that attacking and moving are actually the same inputs, and whether you attack or you move is context dependent, depending on what weapon you're currently wielding. So obviously, like the dagger is just a short range poke. You're only going to attack if there's something directly on the tile you're trying to move to. But the rapier has a double damage lunge attack that will attack enemies that are 2 tiles away, dealing double damage if you have that lunge attack. So it's a really strong weapon when it comes to speedrunning. Because it lets you move and attack at the same time, whereas most weapons you are either moving or attacking. So rapier is like a top tier weapon. Really the only weapon that's like a definitely better than it for speedrunning is axes. Axes are absolutely broken.
Oh.
That's why we banned them in Condor.
Freaking dragon, man.
Oh man, yeah.
This is I'm just gonna pull my
look at these organs.
That's why I'm glad we have blood shields.
Yeah, that's again the sunglasses. I talked about that during the Shiner fight. Sunglasses mean you can't distinguish the dragon colors, and sometimes it's not until it's too late and you've walked into range of a freeze friend, and it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, speaking of uh-ohs.
Oh, we've got an off-the-rails Deadringer fight.
There we go. That's fine. That's fine.
Deadringer here is one of the endgame bosses, and that when you get to the second phase,
Oh, he's playing some ping pong.
Yeah, those charges that he does in the second phase there, if they hit you, that deals 4 hearts of damage. He does have the glass armor to completely negate the damage from 1 hit, but if that glass armor broke and he ate a charge, then he's just dead. Like, that's all there is to it.
Unfortunately, you're not going to actually see much of this NecroDancer fight right here, because we kind of skipped most of this fight using bombs.
Yeah, so in the game storyline, it's Cadence is like going to the Crypt to try and find her missing father, who went there and vanished, looking for the golden loot. And it turns out that Deadringer, the boss before this, is her father under the NecroDancer's curse, and so then you have to fight the NecroDancer with him after you defeat him. You're supposed to maneuver Dorian around with Cadence to land on the buttons at the same time to start destroying the stage, but as long as you have bombs, you can just brute force your way up to the loot and not have to worry about those pesky puzzles and having to use your brain.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So we'll do what would be next in a story run, which would be Melody. Melody's my favorite character personally, so always fun to play her.
So yeah, you only see the loot a little bit at the end of the Cadence run, but the loot is absolutely like one of the most broken weapon in the game. So yeah, Melody is Cadence's mom, and she has got to play the loot to stay alive, because she was killed by the NecroDancer in the story, and the loot has the power to raise the dead, but it's only as long as you keep playing it. So the loot can't attack enemies directly. So if you try and move into a tile that has an enemy in it, you're just going to bump into it without doing anything. In fact, it'll cost you your multiplier. But when you move, it hits all of the tiles surrounding the tile you move into and the tile you move from. So it's a move attack weapon that hits multiple enemies at the same time, which is precisely the reason that the axe I talked about a little bit briefly in the last run is so broken. Just having both AoE and move attack is very, very strong. The fact that you can only use the gold loot as your weapon might sound like a downside at first, but the game actually has item pool thinning based on the character you're playing. So that means that all of the weapons are going to be removed from the item pool and just can't spawn for Melody, which means it makes it a lot easier to find items that are useful for her, in particular armor, because you'll note that if you look at the top right corner, she's only got the 2 hearts compared to Cadence's 3, which makes it a little squishy. Lots of common enemies will one-shot Melody, but if you get armor, that can address that.
There we go. Now we can get our armor. I'm just gonna hope I don't get trolled and get glass, which has been happening a lot.
Yeah, so you see that flawless victory text, and yeah, you can pick one of 3 chests. The types of item in each chest are dependent on the color of said chest. So red chest is like kind of the miscellaneous catch-all. It has like torches and headgear and food, like consumable items. Purple has the magic items, so like scrolls and tomes and spells and rings. And then black has weapons and armor, but again, as I just talked about, since Melody can't get weapons, it's just going to be armor.
So the loot is a great weapon, and it's really fun to play, but it's also, since you can't attack enemies directly with it, if you get trapped on all corners, you are screwed without the use of like some special items to pull yourself out, so I have to really manage my movement.
Yeah, it's especially Zone 4 is really tough on that regard for Melody. It's really easy to get fully surrounded. Because yeah, that is the Achilles heel of the golden loot. It's a super powerful weapon, but only as long as you can move. If you get stuck into a situation where you can't move, the loot is completely useless. It just can't do anything. but that is where the stack of bombs comes into play, as well as spells. If you react fast enough to a pulse round, you can bomb your way out before all of your health gets whittled down. You know, you do tank the explosive damage of your own bomb, but it's better than just sitting there and slowly dying.
And Ring of Peace will help out a little bit too.
Oh yeah, Ring of Peace is arguably like the best ring in the game in a lot of situations. The Ring of Peace is just straight up an easy mode ring. It reduces the number of enemies that spawn every floor. It makes mini bosses spawn as their weaker version. So we saw like that yellow dire bat instead of the brown one, meaning that it only has 2 health instead of 3. And you can get an extra empty heart container while you have it equipped. So yeah, we're also seeing like this dragon is just a green dragon. Normally that would be a blue dragon with that scary, you know, freeze breath cone that we've seen before. But it's just a green dragon, which yeah, just moves every other beat, and tries to stomp on you, which is fairly easy to manage. It's like, you know, it's the most basic movement pattern in the game. A lot of enemies have that kind of movement pattern, so very easy to manage. And yeah, we saw the Shrine of Space coming into play back there. Shrine of Space, when you use it, makes future floors bigger, but gives you a shovel, a shovel of your choice when you activate it. And also, if you bomb it after it's activated, it gives you the Miner's Cap, which automatically digs walls near you as you move. Which, again, Melody being so focused on movement, you know, needing to move, be able to move to attack, not having to stop and stand still to dig walls is really strong for her. Miner's Cap's a good item for any character, but it's especially good on Melody.
I wish I could get some better spells though. This is the second time I've gotten Bomb Spell out of a purple chest out of.
Yeah, as I mentioned, all the spells except for maybe Bomb are really strong. Bomb is literally just the same functionality as the normal physical bombs that you sometimes find in secret rooms. And it has a really long cooldown. That's kind of a, like, it was never really rebalanced. It's kind of a legacy reason that it has such a long cooldown with a high blood cost. It used to be the only way, if you were doing a score run, to really clear out shop walls very well. So you use Bomb Spell to destroy the shop walls. Because the shop walls drop gold on pickup, and score runs are based on how much gold you collect. That was before the Blood Shovel was added to the game, though, and the Blood Shovel's a lot better at clearing out the shop. So yeah, the Bomb Spell for the most part is just a big dumb useless spell. So yeah, Zone 4 is one of the scariest parts for Melody, mainly because of the Harpies and the Warlocks. These the Warlocks are those little kind of pillowy looking mage guys. If you kill them with weapon damage, you instantly teleport to their position, and Melody, you know, always is attacking piles next to the ones she moves to and from, which means that if one gets next to you, like, you have no choice, like, you pretty much have no choice. If no matter where you move, you're going to go to where that Warlock is because you're going to kill it. And that can lead to you teleporting into a really bad spot. There's also the Harpies, which can jump a huge amount of distance in one turn and instantly cut off one direction of movement if you're not ready for them. And yeah, right there we saw a little bit of that Warlock, the Warlock dilemma there. Stuck next to the 1 HP Warlock, but there's a 2 HP Warlock next to it, ready to move. So no matter where you move, you teleport there and take that hit, and you lose the flawless on that tunnel. But
Not a big deal at this point, though.
Yeah, plate armor gonna reduce the damage quite a bit. Plate armor reduces incoming damage by 1.5 parts. So yeah, able to tank that hit very easily.
And we don't need the flawless victory at that point anyways, because we've got our build pretty set, so not a huge deal to lose the chests.
Yeah, the electricity zone here, Zone 5, was the zone added with the Amplified DLC, and it's actually pretty universally regarded as a much easier zone than Zone 4. The songs are a little bit slower than in Zone 4. The wire mechanic is really, really strong. As long as you are on the wire, your attacks are electrically charged and deal chain lightning effects, which makes dealing with large swarms really easy. Yeah, it's just in general a much easier zone than Zone 4. A lot more straightforward. Like game, you know, just surviving can kind of be boiled down to stay on wire, kill everything. Alright, so we've got NecroDancer fight again. This one's a little different from the one we saw in Hades. This one's actually on a timer, and the song gradually accelerates as time elapses, and the walls slowly cave in. And yeah, if you don't finish the fight in time, then you just get
That
crushed
bomb
on
was
the
like
fire.
right next to me and took out all those skeletons.
Oh yeah, that was really nice timing there. You gotta
Alright.
push NecroDancer into the lava for this last hit. And yeah, reach the exit. But yeah, pretty good melody run.
Yeah, it's good.
841's a solid time.
Okay. I don't really want to go in like the story order, so we're just gonna kind of bounce around. Let's go. Let's do something a little different. Let's do Diamond. Diamond's fun.
Yeah, Diamond is one of my favorites. It's such a simple gameplay change, but like the possibilities it opens up are massive. You know, it feels like you're playing like 3D chess in a 2D world, honestly. Because yeah, as you can see, the change basically amounts to you can move diagonally. That does limit the like special items you can use, because you know the way most items and spells work is they're just combinations of multiple directions. So like normally you would use down left for bombs, or up right or down right for spells. You know, but now most of those two direction combinations are limited to movement. So the only things Diamond can use that require special combinations are bombs, which are on his up down, and consumable items, which are on left plus right. All of the the corner jumps, so to speak, now are just movement. But being able to move diagonally against a cast of enemies that mostly cannot means that in high-level speedruns, you can really just kind of weave your way through dense swarms without a scratch. It's really satisfying to get right. Kind of seeing a little bit of, like one of the basic fundamental techniques of Diamond is just digging diagonally when you're going from room to room, just so that enemies can't follow you. And we're seeing a nice little puzzle solving there to get that barrel down the trapdoor. If you push a barrel or a crate down a trapdoor, it'll break on the next floor and leave the item at the start of it. So, gonna be getting a cursed heart at the start of the next floor.
I'm gonna play this safe on death metal. I really want a weapon.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, most speedruns, you really want to make sure you get your flawless reward on the
And I
boss.
just buffed it. Oops. So we're going into Zone 2 with a 1 damage dagger. I'm sure that's gonna be fun, right, Goof?
You're gonna get an electric dagger on 2-1.
I wish.
I don't see it.
I
No.
don't see it. No, that's okay.
On the plus side, ZELLLOOO does have the monocle, which reveals the locations and of all items on every floor. So you can just see where good items are, and so as soon as a good weapon shows up, he'll know it's there and just be able to go straight for it. I need to step away for a second. Goof, you have the floor.
I have the floor? Alright, cool. I'm on the floor 2 of Zone 2. Oh, there's a glass longsword. I think we already explained what glass does, but that
God, I'm getting really
that glass
complicated.
longsword up there, if you can get it. Oh, there's the purple mushrooms. Yeah, the purple mushrooms are very pesky. They
Compass, doesn't matter.
they do the AoE attack a little sooner than the blue mushrooms, and they deal 2 hearts of damage.
Yeah, they're pretty annoying.
Glass longsword will do 4 damage, and it's long range, so it hits the 2 tiles in front of you. If he gets hit, it breaks. Don't get hit.
There. Problem solved.
Easy.
Ooh, I see. I'm tempted to like go with piercing, but rapier also.
Yeah, the obsidian rapier is probably the better choice here.
Yeah, but piercing is also really good. Well, there's regen, so that fixes that. That fixes that conflict right there. And I'll hold on to the monocle in case I find anything else. But yeah,
Also,
our build is pretty much
Coral Rift
set.
was a lot easier there because of the diagonal movement and the long-range weapon. You can just like stand on a diagonal tile and then just hit him. You hit the head.
Yeah, Diamond's pretty OP. We actually had the last of our major tournament series, Condor. We actually had Diamond as our side character tournament. And that was fun.
We did.
Where does Diamond like place on like your list of characters?
Well, I would put him in.
Oh god, this is bad.
I'd put him in A tier, probably.
Okay.
Very bad.
Yeah,
you know
that
what?
was, like,
It would be
really
less bad if the spirit wasn't there.
Very, very balanced enemy. Watch me forget about risk, and I'm gonna die
It looks
to
like
that.
you. It looks like you got it under.
Yeah. As long as we don't slip on ice. Ice is pretty scary. You know what? We'll just jump out the trap door.
Ice is nice.
Okay, Fortissimo should be pretty easy. We can trap him in the corner really good since we have
He
the
is
diagonal.
the unholy moly underworld bully, and he dies in 2 beats, so he never gets to finishes.
Yep. Didn't even get to start, poor guy.
Didn't even get to start. Yeah, but the thing with Fortissimo is you have to get him off stage by creating an opening with skeletons, like he did there, and then he'll burrow into the ground like all enemies in Zone 2.
I am back.
Welcome back.
ZELLLOO almost died on Zone 3.
Yeah, it was a pretty nasty swarm. We're all good though.
Yeah, Zone 3 is tough. And you know, it is the first place where diagonally moving enemies start appearing with those hellhounds. So, you know, some of them starting to get a little bit on par with your movement ability. Not quite.
Did we talk about magic food at all?
Yeah, magic food is, it has the effect of the gluttony charm built into it. What the gluttony charm does is if you overeat, you know, eat a piece of food that will restore more health than you're missing, it'll just give you the heart containers necessary to fill the gap. And yeah, magic food does that inherently. Normally you need the item of gluttony charm to do that with food, but yeah, so ZELLLOO getting an extra heart container from that carrot, because magic carrot, carrot restores 1 heart of health. And since he's already full, that means, yeah, that means going up to 5 hearts. Pretty good forward 3 there. Zone 4 is one of the places where Diamond runs at the absolute top level can get really ridiculous. Because the layouts for Zone 4 are a giant square. You always start in one corner and the exit in the opposite one. So the most efficient Diamond run, naturally, is to just go straight across, cut across the middle, and just...
That gets scary.
Yeah, it means that you're just like cutting through the densest enemy, you know, densest, most enemy-packed rooms on the floor, and trying to just outrun them by moving diagonally, and then trying to kill the exit room boss before everything catches up to you. It's really exciting to watch when it's done well.
Just kind of push this orc along. The electricity's too good, so we're just kind of pushing around.
Yeah, again, this rapier, we saw it in the cadence run. Just has that lunge attack, lets you push enemies like that. Blast Helm also a very strong item here. Blast Helm gonna remove the timer on your bombs and give you full immunity to any explosive damage. So essentially just turns all your bombs into a nice instant panic button. You can just press the bomb button whenever you got enemies too close, and you'll instantly deal 4 damage to everything around you. And yeah, there's a kill on Conga. So yeah, most characters are non-story characters, so to speak, and that just means that they get one of the normal bosses at the end of the run instead of fighting against like the NecroDancer. So we just get the last of the main bosses we haven't seen. That's King Conga right there with the missing 8th beat and the Conga lines of zombies.
I think I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna step away for a bit.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go Nocturna, then Bolt, and then probably Arya if I have time. So we'll run into Nocturna just because I kind of want to show off the story bosses because they're kind of cool. They're annoying, but they're cool.
Yeah, so Nocturna is the pre-DLC story character, and she's a prequel character, so the events of the Nocturna story take place well before the Cadence events. And there's also the Zone Bleed, which is a fun little mechanic.
That's an interesting start.
So we're going to be seeing a room that is essentially out of coming straight out of zone 5, excuse me, every floor, and that room can really mess with the overall layout and turn floors into really open rooms. Especially in zone 4, it can make some floors really messy, essentially just melding all of the separate rooms into one giant room with a massive swarm.
Yeah, it's not uncommon in Zone 4 to get literally 20 enemies on your tail if you're cutting right across.
But the fun thing about Nocturna is she is a vampire bat and comes with the transform spell, permanently assigned to one of her spell slots, which allows her to transform between human and bat form. You're probably going to see less intentional use of the bat form as we progress through the run, but in the early game, it's a really strong option. The bat form regenerates health every 5 kills. Every 5 kills you get a half a heart back. It deals 4 damage at close range. Can inherently see the position of all enemies, and flies, so is not affected by traps or floor hazards. You will also automatically transform into bat form if you would otherwise die as a human. If you would die, you're instead reduced to half a heart and forced into bat form. Changing out of bat form takes half a heart though, so you're forced to get some kills to get some health regenerated before you can go back to human form and get that safety buffer back. So we've got the Obsidian Flail here. Flail is going to attack if there's an enemy in a kind of 5-tile U shape surrounding you in the direction you attack, and it also will push enemies away in the direction that you attack. So it's really good at dealing with swarms that are close to you, but it's what we call a snaggy weapon. It's going to attack in a lot of situations where you don't necessarily want to. Ooh, but that is a titanium cat.
Yeah, its cats are pretty good. And not just because we love actual cats. The cat is like one of the strongest weapons because it has move attack.
Yeah, so the cat has the exact same attack range as the flail that we just left on. Oh wow, there we go.
Yeah, the double pain is really good.
The double pain cat build. This is a very, very strong build.
There's a map right there. There.
Map or a miner's cap if you want it that way. Either way is fine. Yeah. So yeah, the cat has the same attack range as the flail that we just left behind, but instead it'll only hit one enemy at a time, but it will also move you if the direction you are pressing has a free space. So yeah, it's a move attack weapon, which, as I already talked about with the rapier, weapons that move attack are very strong for speedrunning because you're not standing still to kill enemies, you're moving towards the exit while you're killing enemies. We also picked up the Ring of Pain, which is really strong with the cat in particular. The Ring of Pain, whenever you attack with your weapon, does an additional strike, 1 damage strike to all tiles surrounding you. So basically, ZELLLOO can really easily just kind of like weave through enemies, and the combination of like the cat's gonna automatically hit stuff as he moves, which is then gonna proc the Ring of Pain, which is going to clear up any like small fry enemies that are around. Like it's just gonna be a really fast build. The Boots of Pain also deal some move attack damage. Whenever you move, it's going to deal 3 damage to the tile in front of the tile you move to. So yeah, ZELLLOO is just able to deal so much damage on the.
Oh, the freaking elemental ate the transmog. I was gonna transmog off quartz armor.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm back. What happened?
That's unfortunate. So yeah, those secret shops that hide underneath cracked walls will only stay there as long as they don't get covered up by something else. So elementals or beetles or slimes or anything like that that drops floor hazards, if they drop it on the top portal, then it gets destroyed. So unable to go use that transmogrifier. Still was looking for better armor. Quartz armor is fairly useful, but ultimately not typically what most speedrunners are looking for in their armor. The quartz armor is going to make it so that any incoming damage will deal at most 1 heart, which sounds really good. Like, it sounds like absolutely busted, on paper. But when it comes to speedrunning, a lot of times you intentionally tank hits. You use your health as a resource. from weaker enemies, and the quartz isn't going to reduce the damage from enemies, from relatively weak enemies that deal 1 heart of damage, that you'd normally like to tank once you have armor. It's not going to affect their damage output at all. So you usually want something that's going to reduce more incoming hits to half a heart of damage. So Zeal going to be making the swap to the obsidian armor here for that.
Ow, that hurt. Well, that's why we have holy water on deck. Thank goodness.
Yeah, the warlock there. Yeah, I was talking to him during the Melody run about the threats warlocks pose. Warlocks, when you kill them, they instantly teleport you to their position. And yeah, that warlock sitting right in front of a banshee. And banshees are one of the hardest hitting mini bosses in the game. Green banshees hit for 3 hearts. So narrowly avoiding getting hit into the emergency platform there, because the obsidian armor at full charge is going to reduce damage by 1.5 hearts.
I probably should have picked up that potion. Oh, and I just lost my ears.
Oh yeah, the spiked ears, which ZELLOOO had up to this point. The spiked ears raise your weapon damage by 2, and but only as long as you don't drop a beat. And you're not gonna open that early.
I don't have bombs for it.
You have boots of pain.
Oh, that's right, I have boots of pain.
You did damage to it.
Oh, well, there's something useful out of it, so yeah, that works out. Also gun, but I don't feel like doing gun memes.
Yeah, there are some guns. 2 of them. One of them's the rifle. Rifle's probably the better one on average. But despite, you know, as strong as it sounds like it should be to have a gun in a game full of mostly like medieval weapons, guns are kind of like mid to low tier weapons for the most part. Rifle is like solidly upper middle tier weapon, but it's not as good as the CAD. This is definitely a game where you want to be bringing the sword to the gunfight.
Or a cat to a gunfight.
Yeah, or a cat to a gunfight as the case may be. I guess more accurately, you want to bring the axe to the gunfight.
If only, but I haven't seen a single axe, surprisingly.
Yeah, we haven't seen any axes today.
Well, this is the only... We didn't see any during Cadence, and the other 2 characters can't get axes anyways, so...
So we're on Zone 5, and as you guessed, the persistent zone blade routine up to this point doesn't apply here, because we're already in Zone 5, so this is a pretty normal Zone 5, you know, same routine as on the other characters. But there will be a couple of story bosses, and both of them are pretty challenging. Both of them are some of the longest fights in the game. Actually, I think they might just be the 2 longest boss fights in the game. In Frankenstein Way and the Conductor. So Frankenstein Way has 4 phases with 10 HP apiece, and between every phase he's going to teleport to 1 shield generator and activate it. You need to either hit the button to deactivate the shield generator or just destroy it with a bomb. You don't want to attack Frankenstein Way while he has his shield up, or you'll take damage. But yeah, ZELLOOO just gonna use bombs here to destroy all the shield generators, so doesn't have to worry about that at all.
That went pretty smoothly. Shout out to Waraka, by the way, because he has some good showcase videos of different quick kills and stuff, and he found out that you can just kind of lunge the barriers out of the way if you have feats of lunging, which is very rare, but still cool.
Ooh, and that is a really lucky find in that red chest. The blast helm is really good for Conductor fight. Conductor fight, the intended mechanic is to, first you're going to destroy these 4 instruments, then after that you're going to have to drain 5 batteries to finish the Conductor off. And normally you just drain them the same way you use the fire in Zone 5. You stand on it, you attack enemies, and electricity happens, and you got to do that 8 times to drain a battery. But you can also damage batteries with bombs. And the blast helm, you know, as we talked about before, gets rid of those bomb fuses, makes them instant. And it also gives you 3 bombs on pickup. And we're able to see ZELLOOO just stand on that bomb the Conductor threw it and there because his blast helm is low. So 4 batteries will take out 4 bombs will take out 1 battery. So you'll probably see ZELLOOO just take out these 2 batteries with a bunch of bombs. There's also water bubbles that spawn every 3 waves, which can instantly short out a battery as well if you make it splash onto the wire. So, yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Not even actually
clean.
using the water bubble to short out the last battery.
It just
needed
blew
one
it
more
out.
hit. Yeah.
Yeah, we did get to see the second one get shorted out, so it was good. It was a pretty smooth fight, thanks to a ridiculous build. Really, really matters. So that's Nocturna. That's always a lot of fun right there.
Yeah, and yeah, Taro, you're right. The rifle is amazing if you get it in the PvP modes. The PvP modes, though, are not an official part of the game. They're part of a mod project made by some community members called Synchrony. There's a lot of stuff going on. They post new updates every week, and it's a pretty impressive project.
Yeah, I'm actually going to switch the order up here. I'm actually going to do Arya now and see if I can get a clear. But Arya's hard, so off we go.
Oh, it looks like we're doing story mode anyway.
Yeah, basically, but
without actually doing it.
We were hitting all of the story mode characters without actually doing a proper story mode run. So yeah, if you play the actual in-game story mode, you have to do all 4 of the characters, their storylines, in a row without dying. And if you die on any of them, you get sent back to the first character. Really tough category to clear, let alone speedrun. Only I think the leaderboard probably only has like a couple hundred legitimate entries on it. But Arya is the last one, and many players know the struggle of Arya from trying to casually finish off the game's storyline. So yeah, after Cadence, which is the basic character, then you have Melody, who has that golden loot, which is really overpowered, as I talked about before. So arguably the game gets easier when you hit the second character. Then you get to the third character in the story, and it just turns everything completely on its head. Arya does the zones in reverse order, which isn't much of a problem in itself, but more importantly, she cannot get any weapons other than the basic 1 damage dagger. She's not allowed to miss a beat. If you miss a beat, you take damage. And that damage ignores protective effects like this glass armor. The only thing that saves you from that is the potion, which you do start with the potion. So you do essentially have 1 mistake you're allowed. But you also have half a heart of health, as you can see in the top right corner, and there's no way to get extra health. You are just always going to have that half a heart. So yeah, you have to basically get close to enemies to fight them because you'll have that dagger, and you have to never get hit by them because you only have that half heart, and that means that even that little white skeleton that you see everywhere in Zone 1 is just as deadly as this metronome that in this metronome mini boss that ZELLLOO is currently fighting. Nice use of the throwing star to finish off.
yeah, I want to get them out of the way. I don't like dealing with metronomes. They have a lot of health, and they're just kind of annoying.
Yeah, the metronomes are kind of a weird enemy. They move every beat for 3 beats, and then stop for a beat and hit every tile surrounding them. And when damaged, they teleport back to the exit stairs. Which, if you're on 1 damage, that makes for a potentially very long fight with the metronome, because the green metronomes have 5 HP. Yeah, all that said, Arya doesn't have it too bad starting at the last zone of the game, because the wire is just such a strong component. It really lets you just deal with the swarms of high health enemies, even though you only have a 1 damage attack. All that said, while I did say you only have the 1 damage dagger, you can boost your attack damage above 1 with the use of non-weapon items that increase your damage. We'll probably see ZELLLOO get at least 1 of those at some point in the run. Arya speedruns really want to try and get a damage up somewhere along the line.
I'm torn whether I want to get purple or black, though.
Yeah, that is a tough spot here because you already have something that goes in the black item slot, that glass armor. So
Purple. Shielding.
Well, it's more
It is
safety.
protection, but going into Zone 4 with a 1 damage dagger is not what you're looking for. So I'm honestly considering hitting this boss shrine and just taking the effects.
Yeah, so that boss shrine that we're seeing on the left there is If you activate it, you're going to get 2 mini bosses every floor, and you have to kill both to exit the floor. But it gives you a choice of 1 of 3 random items, and if you bomb it after activating, it'll give you a strength charm, which is just a permanent 1 extra damage. And I'm going to take the Transmute Scroll, which allows a 1-time reroll of all items on a floor into random other items. So, it also is the only way to get the Ring of Wonder.
Bad. Let me break him up a little bit here. I'm taking this way safer than normal because Arya's scary, especially in a marathon setting.
Did you say Slender Man?
Sure. Whatever you say,
Slender Man in my NecroDancer?
No, we did not say that here.
I thought I heard Slender Man. I was like, oh shit. Win.
Alright, we're just gonna dance around the skeletons.
That sucks.
That skeleton closet opening up is really unfortunate, having to scoot around these this giant cluster of skeletons. On the upside, Arya doesn't have to destroy the sarcophagi that show up near the exits, so they believe right there.
Floaties!
That's actually really good on Arya, since Arya starts with Zone 5. You don't need to worry about using the wire, so getting wing boots on Arya is really good.
Yeah, the wing boots, like on paper, they seem like they'd be really good. You just fly. You can ignore all the floor hazards, but floating means that you can't use the wire in Zone 5. You
also can't take trapdoors, but Arya tends. You don't want to take trapdoors on Arya because that's a missed beat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trapdoors are a good speedrun tool on most characters. So you just skip to the next floor immediately. You do have to fight like a little, combat arena with the mini boss in the previous floor, but it's still usually faster to take trapdoors when you can. But the thing is that trapdoors cause your multiplier to drop, and the thing about Arya taking damage on misbeats is the game defines pretty much anything that drops your multiplier as a misbeat, and that includes those trapdoors. So you can take trapdoors. There are ways to do it with some pretty oddball game mechanics to take trapdoors safely on Arya, but usually you're not going to be able to. So it makes the wing boots a lot better on Arya than it does on other characters.
Oh,
and yeah, we saw a potion on that previous floor. Seeds can have a given seed can have a potion somewhere on a random floor, surrounded by strong walls. But the thing is, Arya already starts with the potion, and you can't have multiple potions at the same time. So unfortunately, you just have to leave that behind.
Uh-oh, that's not a ring I want.
That's a good ring.
It's
on this character.
Ring. It's a good speedrunning ring. Just be good.
Yeah, just be good. That's what you guys are.
You got the Transmute Scroll, and you got the 2 pixies, bro.
The double heal.
Yeah, the double heal.
So yeah, the thing about pixies is you actually don't want to attack them because they explode. And on most characters, if you just let them touch you, they heal you for a nice heart. But yeah, Arya obviously doesn't care about that heal because she can't get more than the 1 half a heart to begin with. So they're essentially just explosive hazards for her. Although, now, having said that, ZELLLOO just picked up the Blast Helm, and yeah, pixies are explosive damage when they're attacked. So ZELLLOO can pretty safely poke pixies now if they get in range at this point. We got a cracked wall up here, but yeah, during that situation with the
I'm gonna get off courage.
goblin back there,
I don't like it. That'll work. See if I can get heavy glass too. Yep, there we go.
So yeah, the Ring of Courage is a really strong speedrunning.
That should be good enough.
You get a new shovel.
Yeah, I got one.
You can get Becoming.
No thanks.
I am just disappointed that there was no.
You have Transmute Scroll though.
There was no.
That is true, but I don't want to roll for it and get stuck. I kind of like having my 3 damage.
No funny feet for today, I guess. You're sticking with the wing boots.
ZELLLOO is decidedly not funny.
But yeah, that
You're grounded.
that Ring of Courage, the Ring of Courage that you left behind, it essentially turns all of your weapons into move attacks. When you kill an enemy with your weapon with the Ring of Courage, you move forward and are invincible for that turn. It's really strong. It lets you like carve through swarms pretty quickly as long as you can keep getting kills consecutively. But being forced to move forward can also put you into situations you don't really want to be in. So very fast ring, but also a little bit spooky. So yeah, ZELLLOO gonna transmog it and gets the ring of life instead, which is just a flat +1 damage. A lot more straightforward for him to use. So up to 4 damage because of the Strength Charm, the Strength Shovel, and the Ring of Might. Strength Shovel also going to be doing these big digs that we see here. Whenever ZELLLOO digs a wall, gonna dig out in a 3x3 square instead of just a single tile. Also a little bit of a time save for floors where you would otherwise have to dig through a lot of walls to reach the exit most efficiently. So yeah, pretty solid setup ZELLLOO's got here.
Did we talk about heavy glass at all?
Yeah, so the heavy glass is basically the same as glass armor, but it's better. It's heavy and it blocks 3 hits instead of 1. So
It makes you look fat.
It does that too, I guess. Yeah, very strong item, especially for Arya and for Coda, who we will probably not be seeing here.
We're out of time after this run, so it's okay.
Arya, as I mentioned before, yeah, does the zones in reverse order. She's been trapped in the bottom of the crypt and is trying now to leave it to go destroy the golden loot, because it's just a cursed item that does all sorts of nasty things. And the enemy composition is quite a bit random compared to the other characters, so we're going to see lots of enemies here in this first, or well, final zone for Arya than we would normally. There's also the boss shrine is active, means we're getting multiple mini bosses every floor. ZELLLOO been taking a few hits, down to 1 more hit on the heavy glass armor. We like to call it the glass bib.
It's a cute bib. That brings us to our story boss.
And we're coming up on the golden loot, so yeah, when Arya tries to destroy the golden loot, it turns into a monstrous dragon, which is pretty scary and intimidating, but there's a nice little quick kill set up that speedrunners have worked out. You're supposed to kind of use the bounce traps to reset your parry and get an alignment with the timing of the dragon head, but you can attack the body harmlessly and use that instead. Makes for a very fast kill and pretty consistent and safe one, barring some edge cases.
Yeah, if you end up getting rider spawns at the top where they're on the horses and they move every beat, that can get really, really scary. But that went pretty much perfectly, and that was a good set of runs. I'm happy with that. We got through all the story characters plus Diamond, so couldn't have asked for a better set of marathon runs.
GG.
And yeah, I guess I'm gonna just drop a quick mention that if you want to try speedrunning this game, there is actually a major season that's about to start that's open to all skill levels. They have people who have signed up for it who literally like just beat the game for the first time. So there's a pretty extensive and still very active running community for this game, even all these years later after post-release. And yeah, it should be a good time. In fact, there's a tournament, there's a smaller conduit tournament going on right now, which is where I think a lot of the NecroDancer folk are right now at the time. But yeah, ZELLLOO, good showcase.
Yeah, thank you, Spooty and Goof, for commentary, and I'm glad we could just have a nice NecroDancer showcase. Like, this is like one of my favorite games. This has become one of my favorite games over the last few years, and it's just such a fun thing. But I was a little nervous because this is actually my first time doing NecroDancer for a marathon, so I'm happy it went really well.
Thankfully, we were able to keep the talking about the permadeath and having to reset back to the first floor if you die, just to words only.
Didn't have to worry.
No deaths this whole
No
run.
deaths. No deaths.
Yeah,
Did
it worked
great.
out great. Anyways, that's gonna be
1, 2, oh baby. Fingers, oh boy. Get up, yes, move it. Your fingers.